品尝酸甜苦辣，体会人生百味，尽在澳人寻味。澳大利亚是优良赛马的发源地之一。从18世纪中期，当有人类定居澳洲的时候，赛马活动就已经出现了，并且很快地传播开来，一直延续到今天。赛马赋予了澳洲人在繁忙工作之余的激情和愉悦，一直让他们疯狂地追随着。今天的主人公 Bill 就是一位继承了家族3代驯马传奇的专业赛马驯养师。
Hello, my name is Bill Cochran. My family's been in the racehorse industry for 65 years. My father and my grandfather were both in the industry. My grandfather was on the committee of the Melbourne Racing Club. My father was on the committee of the Moonee Valley Racing Club. His name is Ted. He won the Order of Australia Medal for his contributions to the racing industry. My grandfather Wally has had a famous race named after him, the WW Cochrane Stakes, which kicks off the Spring Carnival. And I have been on the committee of a racing club myself. For me, I love the horses and I love being with them. This is my sole income, and my work began when I was 15, working with the horses. I've worked with the horses right through now for the last 25 years, and I love the horses. It's my life. I work very hard to make a successful business at my horse stud. We have a racehorse agistment property. We breed our own horses, and we have a quarantine facility that actually sends horses to China and to South Africa, United Emirates, and sometimes to Singapore. That business is a business that we've been running for the last 5 years. The Cochrane name in racing has a very long history. We're probably the oldest racing family in Victoria and one of the oldest in Australia. Unfortunately, people come and go very quickly. It's unusual to have a family that has been through the generations in this industry. We've done that by holding a very high standard. We're known for our integrity in the industry.
说起澳洲的赛马赛事，人们第一印象就是墨尔本杯。墨尔本杯赛马是澳大利亚最著名的赛马，创办于1861年，在澳大利亚被誉为让举国屏息的赛事。
So racing in Australia has just got stronger and stronger over the years. The prize money has gone through the roof, and it's not just the Melbourne Cup that is the premier event in Australia. We have races that are worth $3 and $4 million outside of the Melbourne Cup. And one of the best races in the world is the Cox Plate at Moonee Valley. It's a multiple $1 million race. So the field that's in the Cox Plate is exceptional. And in my view, it's probably the best race in Australia, even though the Melbourne Cup is the most famous. We have a 2-year-old race called the Golden Slipper, which again is a multi-million-dollar race in Sydney. It's only been run recently, and there's races over the championships in Sydney, many races that are well over $1 million that are competed on a weekly basis. So the racing industry in Victoria and Sydney is at the top of its game and equivalent to anywhere in the world, if not better. Australia as a whole is very strong in their racing capabilities.
作为专业赛马驯养家族， Bill 和父辈们对于马儿们有着血浓于水的感情。
The painting behind me was given to me by my father. We have Bletchingley and Vane. In Dad's opinion, Vane was the fastest horse that he's ever seen, and many people know of Black Caviar. My father believes this horse would have beaten Black Caviar on any day. My grandfather tried to buy Vane, and was the highest bidder, but the owner of the horse wanted the horse to stand in New South Wales and not Victoria, so they missed out. And Dad had this painting done of two of his favourite horses, and very famous horses in Australia, both the best racehorses of their time and became champion stallions.
Bill 已经把马儿们当成了自己家庭的一部分，对他们的照顾更是无微不至。
The farm today is actually growing in size. We've just purchased a new property which we're setting up ourselves, and we're in the middle of putting all the fences in and extending our farm.
So we've just drilled a hole, put the post in, building the new horse fences.
I start my job at daylight, check the horses. The first thing I do is I'll drive around and check all the horses, and then they'll have their breakfast, so they're winning out to me and making sure that I feed them pretty quickly after checking them. So what we have here is corn and some sunflower seeds, oats. So this is the bulk feed, and then we're adding some garlic that will be put into the feed and mixed in. Once we get the garlic into their system at this time of year, it builds up a really good immunity to getting colds in the paddock. And then we also add oil, which is good for their coat and good for their digestive system. So this mare here, she was actually a stakes winning mare. She's retired, so she's the nanny. It's very important. She's one of the most important horses on the farm. So these weanlings are not hers, but she's the nanny of them. So when we take them off their mothers, they fret and they get upset. And so the nanny horse goes in and she looks after them like the grandmother. And the nanny has to be very quiet. You have to choose the nanny well. You want the nanny that's looking after them, and that if there's a storm or if there's any conditions where the little ones might get a fright, if the nanny's there and she's standing there, the worst they do is run around in circles around the nanny. And that's a really important thing. So I'm going to feed the bulk feed first. So we're going to do that now. So you live with your horses and you know all about them, and the day that I don't know about my horses should be the day that I don't do this anymore. However, the thoroughbred and the value of some of the thoroughbreds does put extra pressure on what you do in terms of looking after them. Unlike a pony, they need to be fed regularly to keep weight on. So this is the garlic here, and we just mix that in a bit. Yeah, mix that in with the oil and the grain, and here she goes. The nanny loves it. Whilst I feed them, it's very important that you check each horse a lot more thoroughly. So each horse, I scan my eye over them, their legs, anything that may have happened overnight. We can have thunderstorms or certain things that may upset them during the night, so it's important that you check your horses early in the morning as your first job. So it's good when you're trying to catch a horse that you don't just walk up and throw the head collar on them. Introduce yourself, give her a pat, and let her know that you're not a threat. And often when horses give you two eyes, it's a good time to stop and walk backwards, and then approach them when they're giving you one eye. She's pretty quiet anyway. So we're going to be putting the rug on this mare. It's a sunny day, but it's not that warm today, but we're leading into the colder months. And this mare has come to me a bit light in condition. She's pregnant as well, so we want to make sure that she gives everything into her foal, her pregnancy. She's so quiet. She doesn't like conflict, so she's stands away from the others, and she doesn't want to be fighting with anyone, so she'd be more happy to miss out on having her food than she would going to get it and having a confrontation. So she's shy and much better on it with her own company, and that's why we've kept her separate. So she's arrived. We've noticed that the other horses don't get along with her. She's missing out on food. You can see that she hasn't done that well from the other place she came from. So we're just adjusting the belly straps so they're not too tight. And as her pregnancy grows, these straps have to be adjusted quite regularly, probably once a week. And now it's her chance to blossom. So a rising plant in nutrition and get that pregnancy growing how it should be. And she, look, in another 2 months she'll be sparkling. She'll look beautiful. We may have the foals that have been born that have been going to be looked after and taught how to lead and how to be handled. Young horses, it's important once they're born that you do handle them quite regularly. But they also need to be horses. You don't want to overhandle them. You need to have them living in their paddocks and running around and being a horse, essentially. So it's important not to pet them too much. They do need to be let free and learn to run. So this is a young horse, a young thoroughbred colt. He's only 5 months old. He has a very kind nature, a good temperament, but all the weanlings at this age, they've just left their mums, so they're missing their mother, and we look after them for a period of time and teach them how to lead and how to pick up their feet, all that sort of stuff. So this is my right-hand man, Wade, and whilst Wade is holding the young colt, I'm going to pick up his feet. So we're just teaching them everything that the farrier might do with them at a later stage in their life. So getting them used to all this sort of stuff. And it's normal for them to want to take their hoof away. We don't want to have a fight with them, and we'll go with them at times. So he wants to put his foot down, I'll let him put his foot down. And then we'll just pick it up again. So we pick it up again, teach him to put it between the legs of the farrier, which is where the farrier would be doing all this, and then we'll put it down again. And then we'll work on the back legs. Now young horses, it's very normal for them to kick because they don't really like you touching their back legs. They haven't had it done a lot, and if he does kick out, that's quite normal. And we'll work with him until he gets used to us touching areas that aren't normally touched at this young age. It's also important not to just go straight for the foot. You notice that I'm just rubbing my hand down his leg and getting to the hoof, and we don't want to just go like that, because if I go like that, he'll get a fright and he'll kick. So we're just letting him know where we are at all times. And then we lift that up, and when he feels, I can feel him in my hand now, he's relaxed, so I come forward, woo, and there we go. That's alright, good boy. There is a lot of pressure with raising thoroughbreds because they are a very valuable item at times. So now we've picked up his feet, we're going to give him a lesson with the real tools. So we have a rasp, a pair of clippers, and the hoof knife. So what I was teaching the horse before is leading up to when the farrier comes, and the farrier is the person that will be looking after his feet for most of his life. So that's the person that will be trimming his feet, putting his shoes on, all that sort of stuff, right through his racing career. So that's going to be happening all the time with horses. So it's very important that they are used to having people touching their feet, and this is what we are focusing on today. Initially, we're just going to get some of this mud and debris out of underneath his hoof, like this. So we've got a clean area to work with. There we're just working on. We're not going to be spending a lot of time on these young horses, just because it sometimes takes a bit too long for their patience. So we'll get it to this stage. We'll just let him have a rest. I'll grab the clippers and we're just going to trim around just bring the heels back a little bit, which is this area here. They're the heels. It's a soft piece of the hoof where all the pressure when they run goes into this area. So it's quite an important spot. And we'll just go over to get this nice and level and flat. So when he puts his foot down, it's a nice even area of weight. You bring it forward. See? So we're just getting a nice shape to his hoof. And we come around. And if you can see under here, it's a lot better. And that's given him a really good lesson on getting his feet done for the future of his racing career. Everything we do is with the horses, and we love to do it. It's our life. Our family does specialise in the thoroughbred, which is the racehorse. So a thoroughbred takes a lot of time to look after, and the added pressures with raising thoroughbreds is mainly at night, I find, when you're asleep and you're not with your horses. When you have a live animal that can be worth $1 million, it's very scary when you're trying to sleep, because you don't sleep really when there's a storm on. But more than likely, they're absolutely fine. We very rarely have accidents. The paddocks are built to be very protective of the horses. They would actually be safe due to the construction of those fences.
必有的成功背后，自然少不了家庭成员的支持，而他本人对于赛马驯养事业也有着非常执着的追求。
I have 7 children, big family. We're not just breeding horses. We all enjoy the horses. My children all ride. They have little ponies, and if they so wish to be involved in the industry, obviously that would be fantastic for the 4th generation to continue. I always believe that you need to spend time with horses. You need to watch horses and you need to be with them. You need to know what they're thinking before they do it. And that's another thing that will always keep you safe when you're working with horses, is knowing what their next move is before they do it. And they give you plenty of signs. But you can only read those signs if you are with them all the time. In terms of our business and what's in the future, whether that's with the kids or not, I will continue to run this business, and our family legacy will continue. We are looking at doing a bit of teaching of people. We want to. I personally want to teach people One thing I think that's missing is the true horseman. The industry is lacking those people, and I want to give that back. I want to teach kids how to be as one with a horse, and that's something that's missing, and that's what I'd really like to do. We've done everything that can be done in the breeding industry. We've bred over 70 stakes winners over all these years, and I'd really like to take my knowledge and give it back somehow. I'd love to teach people how to be around horses. As a very old racing family, it's all my knowledge. I want to give it back because it is something that's lacking in this industry, and I'd like to see it come back.
作为专业赛马驯养家族的第3代传人 Bill 的故事还在继续，而这长达半个多世纪与马割舍不断的情缘，也是 Cochran 家族对于赛马行业不可磨灭的贡献。